stuff from all over the county.
Hi, my name is Darlene Miller and I'm from the OMAC. We're here and interviewing Nancy, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about Ormond Beach. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is this Ormond Beach and when did it start? Because people really want to know.
The area where you're at right now is Ormond Pointe, and it started in 2003 when a group of City Corps kids came to me and were really upset that this area was a garbage dump. It was illegally used as a garbage dump. We spent 2.5 years filling up industrial-size dumpsters every weekend with City Corps and volunteers and just people that really love Ormond showing up time after time. 2.5 years later, it was cleared out enough we could bring students in. We had the land and the water and the air tested. Everything came back fine. We started bringing students out the 2005-2006 school year. And since then, we've had over 10,000 students come out. We're countywide. We've had students from every single school district. They come out here and they fall in love with Ormond. And we actually, the two girls that came out as All-Stars started here because one of them came out with her school, fell in love, and when they became Ventura County All-Stars with the 4-H, which is a very big honor, the first place they thought it was here.
Tell us a little bit more. What is your name?
I'm Dayle. I came out in 6th grade with my class, and we were doing a water testing, like lab for science, so this was part of it, and we came out and we tested the water just down the road. But we also got to walk this area a little bit with the group, and it was really like cool to see all this.
So there's three of you guys.
No, there's two.
There's two. So what is your name?
My name's Savanna, Stanley. I'm the other All-Star.
So I heard that there's a bird named after you, or
The Savanna Sparrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my good friend.
Tell us a little bit
About the Savanna Sparrow?
Yes.
We always see her around.
Yes.
Yeah, she comes around. I don't know much about my Savanna
And it
Sparrow.
likes to nest in pickleweed. It's a very strange little bird, and it's very, very tiny, and the Savanna Sparrow about this big, and it loves to make pickleweed its little nest.
Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit more about you, Savanna.
Well, Dayle and I started in 4-H when we were really young, and we got the honor of being the County All-Stars, which is like a teen leader for all Ventura County 4-H. So we went to all the different clubs, which like 15 different clubs of 50 or more members. So we were, teen leaders in the 4-H community, and then when we had to do our big All-Star project, we decided to come out here. And at first we just got a $1,000 grant from the 4-H Healthy Living Grant. So we were really excited about that. So at first when we came out, we just wanted to do a little something for $1,000. We didn't really think much of it, and Nancy was really helpful with that. And then, we had some bumps in the road, but, we
The
persevered.
Coastal Commission.
People kind of thought that we were doing something disruptive for the environment, but we just had to keep telling them, no, we're just kids. We just want to help out. We're not trying to disrupt the land or hurt anybody. And after 2 years, we were able to...
And an $8,000 grant
$8,000 grant from GenOn was donated to us because Bill Baker, the head of GenOn, met us at the Earth Day. We were out, supporting Ormond Point at Earth Day, which was 2011. We went out there, and Bill fell in love with us. We were so cute and vibrant about the project that he said, "Hey, want us to give you some money?"
And it started out at $5,000. Ended up the check had $8 in front of it. So. They just kept adding more money to it.
And they gave us the check in front of the city council at one of their meetings, so it was really like a big...
We had a big picture with Bill with the big check, that big fake check. And
So I see that you have Stan from John Zaragoza's office, our supervisor. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you think about all this?
Well, as Supervisor Zaragoza's representative, we're really proud to support Nancy Pedersen and the 4-H Club. Supervisor Zaragoza is a very progressive environmental individual that started the recycling programs at the city of Oxnard, composting programs, environmental education. He retired from the city and worked for the city council. He worked with Nancy and others on opposing the LNG facility off the coast, which would have been really detrimental to the environment and dangerous to our community. He's now on the Board of Supervisors. As a council member also, he's supported this wetlands area. The city purchased a great deal of wetlands in this area for preservation. He's in favor of SOAR, which is an open space amendment in the county, and he's really a progressive environmental individual on many levels. I have an environmental background also, but working for the supervisor has been great. I worked for him as a recycling manager to help implement the recycling programs, and I'm working with him on a variety of community programs, and we're really happy to be here and support the 4-H Club and Nancy and all the people that support Ormond Pointe and Ormond Beach for preservation and for really it's a community asset that we want to preserve for many years for our kids and our families.
What do you think we should do to continue to support this program and to support our youth? Because this is the future, and if we just wait to just let nothing happen, we really need to work together as a community and support our youth, because they have done a great job, especially Nancy. I see that she's always out there trying to get people to come over here. I think the most important thing is that we should work together and to try to bring more people like Stan and our supervisor that's supporting. What do you think we should do, Stan?
Well, I think one of the things that we could do is we could make people aware that this Ormond Beach and Ormond Pointe trail and the Anna's Reading Room that was opening up today is here and available to the public. And then to let the business community know that if they have grants or other types of contributions that they could make. And then there are businesses and there's nonprofit groups in the community. There's also a lot of free labor and things that people can provide or supplies. So just making people aware that this is here, what a great asset it is, and then make people aware that there are some donations and there's some either funds or in-kind services needed, and to get in touch with Nancy to support the Ormond Beach, the Ormond Pointe here.
People coming over, it's important for our community to know that you have tours and times and dates. How can we be able to let people know if we're going to put it on a poster, we're going to put it on a brochure? What can we do to get people to be aware about Ormond Beach?
Public access TV. We used to have information that I put out that was on the old public access TV. And right now, one of our biggest lacks is not getting it out to the community, but having the money for the buses so that we can bring the children down. Having money so that we need a staff. We need paid people out here. We need people that can be here on a regular basis and that can say, look, I work one weekend every month and we'll have a naturalist out, we'll have all these other activities. We really need the city to start really stepping up because they own this land. And people that live next to a golf course don't have bake sales and write grants to keep their grass green and pretty. But in order to keep this going, this has been running on nothing but volunteers since 2003, and we've raised about $20-something thousand on our own. So we really need for the city to step up and realize this is their asset. This is a beautiful place, and it belongs to the people of Oxnard.
Well, we're here with Nancy, and she's been working really hard in trying to get this Ormond Beach and to send a message to our community. It's important for us to support her and support this great project that they have here in Oxnard and while it's Ormond Beach. Well, if we can please have your support and we can be able to start using this beautiful access that we have, so if we can start using public access and to educate our community regarding Ormond Beach, it would be. Hi, we're here with Dayle, and she's going to give us a little bit more about Ormond Beach.
So we originally got a grant for $1,000 for healthy living, so then we were able to start thinking up an idea to get a path out here so we can bring kids out here for an educational wetland experience, because a lot of kids don't know that we have wetlands in Ventura County because of the fact that they haven't left where they've been living in their neighborhood, so they don't get to experience places like this. So we thought it was a really good idea to get a grant to get posts so we could have informational posters and stuff and be able to teach them what's out here. So on our posts we had have a bird and information about the bird. So on this post right here we have the great blue heron, and there's always great blue herons out here. I don't think there's any today, but they hang out over by the fake water wetland display thing they have right around the corner, and kids like to walk over there and they can see it. And then there's also sagebrush, which is all over the place in the wetlands because it's an indigenous plant. And yeah,
Does the birds, are they always here all year? Or
yeah,
is it just, do they fly away, or usually like there's sometimes that they leave us, but they're always
Different
here.
seasons, yeah.
they're here for breeding season mainly.
So when is it around the
spring?
Spring.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kids are usually around here in springtime, and they're getting to see the birds. And they're coming.
Yeah, they come when it's all the plants have their flowers on them. It's really pretty. Everything's green. That's usually when all the kids are here.
So right now it's kind of quiet.
Yeah, everything's dormant right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Let's continue with the tour, and then you can show us more. This is
The marker that we have right here is for the bald eagle, and that's a picture of Mr. A29. On September 11th, 2008, he showed up and was lurking all over the place here. He has a little backpack and a little GPS thing. He was brought down from an Alaska nest to repopulate the islands, and apparently he decided there was no fun and games on the island, so he suddenly showed up here. Since then, he has brought 4 of his friends over, which has not made the Park Service really happy. And he and his buddies are hanging out at the Duck Club with a pair of golden eagles as we speak. So we do have bald eagles, if anyone asks you. They just kind of hang around. They like to go to the canal and catch a few carp, and they've been seen in the parking lot eating. They're very messy eaters. So if you come out here, there's actually a small chance that you would see them in action.
wow. So we have a lot of different friends here, huh? So
There's also on this post, we decided that for our yoga pose, we wanted to incorporate it with kind of the same, what was going on in the pose. So for the bald eagle, and we have saltgrass on this one, we chose the eagle pose, which a lot of kids love doing because it's a good yoga pose and relaxation. And you go like this, you bend your right leg and you put your arm forward and try to stretch and try to balance, and you have to repeat that 5 times on each leg. And a big part of our path began with our 4-H Healthy Living grant that Dayle and I got when we first became All-Stars in 2011. And the reason we got that $1,000 grant was because they wanted us to incorporate healthy living in our community, and we promised them that we would do that. So when we began this path, we knew we had to do some type of healthy living exercise for the environment as well. We did get a little paranoid at first because we started getting some complaints saying that we were going to disrupt if we were doing sit-ups on the ground, the city thought that we were going to disrupt the plants. Or anyways, after all that went down, we decided that we wanted to do yoga poses and calming relaxation poses so that no one would get mad, everyone would be happy. So we came up with 10 really nice exercises that we have detailed in English and Spanish, so anyone who comes out are able to properly do the pose. And we think that all the kids really love it when they come out, and it's really been a big part of our beginning in this path.
Okay, well, let me try to see if I can do this. How does it go?
Hold your hold one of your feet, and you put your right hand out and you try to balance.
How am I doing? This is great. This is great. Okay, well, we'll continue with the tour.
So this is one of our posts, and on this one we have the great white egret, and we also have a few of those out here. And they like to hang out over by the water side, so if you go over towards the water, you'll see them. They like to go fishing for their food there. And then we also have the mule fat, which is not right by this post. It's actually over that direction towards the beginning of where our path starts. And that always has flowers on it during the spring, and it's really pretty.
It's dormant right now.
It's dormant. So what color are the flowers?
They're like a purplish, and it the whole hill that's over there really like becomes colorful in the spring when all the plants are like in full bloom. And then we also have like part of our exercise pose, we have the pelican arm flaps here.
Oh, so how does that go?
That one, you stand tall and you have to like fix your posture and you like bring your arms up and down and
you raise up to the tip of your toes and you go up and then you go down. And notice how your arms must move faster than feet since arms are longer. And you repeat this 10 times. Up, down. That's kind of hard.
Let's try to do it, Stan.
Okay, so go slowly on
Okay,
your toes.
all right, now I'm really a lot older than these young ladies, and I'm unbalanced. But it's just up, down. See, I'm gonna fall right into Darlene here, I think.
Our next supervisor, our next president of the United States.
No. I'm just happy to be here with the folks from Ormond Beach. But yeah, I'm not too good with. I'm good with the yoga when you're laying down or on your, sitting down.
Well, see, we get to have some fun here. Why don't you guys come and join us? So now we're on post number 2, and Nancy will tell us more about this.
This one has the red-tailed hawk on it, as well as the pink mallow. Anybody who's been to the Channel Islands will have seen the pink mallow because they're native there. And they showed up here. We didn't plant them. They just, after we cleared, they showed up. And we have a story about our red-tailed hawks. We have Daddy and Junior. And Daddy came home one day and Junior was sitting on his telephone pole. They got into this big battle and my husband and I were just enjoying it. Anybody that's raised children knows what happens when somebody sits in Daddy's recliner. And Junior basically gave up finally, moved to his own little post. And whenever we come out here, we can tell which is Daddy and which is Junior by which post they're sitting on, because they stay pretty strictly on their own.
Okay, Nancy, tell us a little bit more about this post.
Oh, this has the very cute, very tiny Savanna sparrow. Really, really cute bird, very, very small and endangered. It also has the giant coreopsis, which has a nickname. Not all plants have nicknames, but this is the Dr. Seuss plant. And once we go over in a bit and look at it, I think you'll have a good idea why it's called the Dr. Seuss plant. The kids, that's one of the questions that they are asked to find out, is they have to explore and discover, why would you name a plant the Dr. Seuss plant? And we have our dolphin wave jumps as our yoga pose.
Okay, so this is another post.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are kind of tired, or do you want to do another post?
We
Yeah.
can do another one.
Okay.
These ones are inspired by the ocean,
So
hence
the ocean
the name.
dolphin.
So
So
it's
we're
like-
gonna bend forward with knees bent and hands straight behind you.
Yeah. Then you
Bend
kinda,
all
like,
the way down.
Jump like you're a dolphin, jumping over waves. So
So do it again.
Hi, welcome to Ormond Beach, and here's Nancy. She'll tell us a little bit about this post.
This welcomes you to the Roma Jean 4-H Educational Wetland Path, named after Roma Armbruster and Jean Harris, who were the godmothers of Ormond Beach and are the only reason this land still exists and doesn't have basically the name of Malibu North, with all of us basically locked out of our own beaches. And this has pickleweed, which surrounds us on the salt pan. We do not have snow. The white here is salt, and this is the thickest I've ever seen the salt pan. The pickleweed, when it takes up too much salt, it turns red. So this time of year, with the soil being so salty, we have red and green pickleweed against the white, and it looks kind of Christmassy. So we do actually have Christmas in California, but in a rather strange way. We also have Anna's hummingbird, which is the boss. He sits on the dead tree over there. We're not allowed to remove that. He will come down and say bad words. And he's in charge of everything. He goes along on our bird walks. He checks out when we're planting, and he's kind of a mascot to the kids. He really enjoys being out here when we have kids out here. And if you look around at all the flags, when the students come out, we usually have 3 students per plant. One student picks out the plant, one student carries all of the trowel, the other things we need, and then the third student is in charge of choosing where they want to put their plant in the area we're working on. So we have a flag for each plant that went in the ground. Some of them are dormant and they die down to the ground, so it doesn't look like there's anything there. But when the rains come, all of a sudden this whole area comes alive and plants just spring out of nowhere, and we have all sorts of wonderful flowers all over. The coreopsis as just covered in yellow flowers, and we have the rose mallow, which has pink flowers, and we have all of the others. Just, it's very, very colorful, very pretty, and it's very seasonal, and it's very limited in time.
I noticed that there's a pink flower right there.
Some of them bloom year-round, and they aren't supposed to, but we don't have a problem with that. We kind of encourage it. I give this area more water than it would get naturally, so we do keep some of the stuff going.
Wow, it's really beautiful, Nancy. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, through the city of Oxnard. If they go to either the city manager's office or the mayor's office, they will give them my information. My email is always available. That's oxnardbutterfly, all one word, at AOL.com. They can email me. And like I said, this land is owned by the city and it's controlled by the city. So if they go through the mayor's office or the city manager's office, they will be put in touch with the people that can bring them out here.
And how can we get some donations over here?
Same thing, talk to the mayor. Mayor Flynn is kind of the one that's really interested out here, he and the mayor pro tem especially. And go contact them and just ask them what you can do.
Nancy, you've been telling us a lot of stories about Ormond Beach. Tell us a story about the shirt.
The shirt is for the Roma Jean Wetlands 4-H trail, and it was designed by the 4-H girls, the All-Stars, and they worked with the daughter of a friend of mine, Doris O'Connell, to put the shirt together. And it really honors Jean and Roma, who were the godmothers of this area. Without them, this area wouldn't exist, because they kept the developers out, they kept Disney out, they kept everybody out. I mean, they were trying to turn it into a marina, they tried to turn it into high-rises, and those two ladies in tennis shoes just stood there fighting off the bulldozers and saying, no, 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 this is for the children, this is for posterity, this is for the future people that need to have a wild area where they can go and enjoy nature. And the girls really, really fell in love with Jean and Roma when they did the research into their life stories.
Tell us about the cement here.
Well, this was the first area we started working on. This is Coreopsis Hill. And we spent 2.5 years removing ice plant from this area. And when we started, nobody could figure out why we have a hill in a wetland. That's not a typical feature. And everybody just was a little puzzled why it was here, but it made a nice feature for us to start with because it gave the children something that they could look at. They could see it from the street and they could watch the plants grow. So we spent 2.5 years, pulled up all the ice plant. Last piece comes up and we discovered that underneath it was solid concrete, all the way down to the ground. It was like 3.5, 4 feet deep. People that had leftover concrete when they were doing housing would bring it out here and dump it. And you don't normally grow plants in solid concrete. That's not usually a real winning proposition, but we didn't have a choice. The kids out at Briggs School had raised a whole bunch of coreopsis for us, and we needed a home. This was the only place that we had cleared. So we planted it and discovered that giant coreopsis, or Dr. Seuss plants as they're known, apparently think of concrete as being part of nature. They are under the impression they're growing on the side of a mountain. They're quite happy. You can see they're growing quite well. And just this year we started having gophers, which means that the plant roots have decomposed all of the cement enough that they're now able to come up from the bottom. So that was kind of a party moment for us. We all kind of ran around going, gophers, gophers, and looking a little strange because that's not usually a celebratory moment. But for us, it meant that we had finally defeated the concrete and that the cement was on its way out. We left a couple of patches, we left that, and we left the piece I'm standing on just to kind of remind us where we started, because that was in 2005 that we started clearing this off. It was 2008 that we started planting. So it's been a long time, but it's been very successful.
Thank you so much. Nancy, tell us more about these wonderful stories. God, I'm learning so much about now this plant.
Well, this is the Coreopsis gigantea, and botanists and environmentalists call it the Dr. Seuss plant. And after you look at it more closely, you get a pretty good idea why. It has the trunk of a palm tree. It has feathery leaves that look kind of like a carrot. And then when it's in full bloom, it has bright Coreopsis yellow flowers jutting out at very strange angles that are on very long stems. It looks like you kind of put different parts together, and it really does look like a Dr. Seuss plant. And because Dr. Seuss lived in San Diego near a wetlands, we kind of think he may have used this as the prototype for his truffula tree in the Lorax, because there's a little similarity, and most of the kids that come out here call it the truffula tree. Because it connects with them, and they really, all of them have read the Lorax, and all of them really enjoy the fact that we have Dr. Seuss plants. And all of these came from seed that was grown up into plants by the students at Briggs School in Fillmore and Santa Paula. And they were raising them in Santa Paula. We weren't sure that they would survive because the climate there is a little different than ours. And if you look around, you'll see Dr. Seuss plants everywhere, and they were all grown by those students in the after-school program. So we have friends and we have helpers all over the county. Hi, I'm Nancy Pedersen. I'd like to welcome you to Ormond Pointe, which is located at Ormond Beach. If anyone would like to have tours or bring their classrooms out, teachers, parents, we can always set something up. We're very flexible. My email address is oxnardbutterfly, that's all one word, at AOL.com, and I can always be reached at that address. We always enjoy having people out here. The best time of year is in the spring when all of the plants are in bloom, and it is absolutely gorgeous. That's also when we have the most birds.
So what are we doing here now? Can you give us a little bit of information on what you're doing?
Sure, these are pine cones that we found in a variety of different places throughout Ventura, and we collected them in the basket right here. We have probably 30 or 40 pine cones, and as they open up, they have a perfect little branch there where you can put peanut butter. And the peanut butter then of course, birds love peanut butter, and also the bird seed here, when we pour it onto the cone, it sticks to the peanut butter. And when we hang these out in the trees, the birds flock to them and have a very nice little meal. And they're very decorative, and the children just love to make them. They're sticky, healthy, so they're eating peanut butter while they're making them, and it's just a great activity for children.
Hi, we're here with Signe. What's here in this bucket?
They're clay mixed with different seeds for the kids to throw out in the field. We get the clay in the big blocks, we grind it up, and then they get to play with clay and mix it up in buckets. And they have all kinds of fun because kids play with mud, and then they mix the seeds with it. And then after they dry, we throw them out and let the rain comes down, and it melts the clay off, and it ends up seeds wherever they plant.
Whose idea was this?
Nancy, I believe she was the one that come up with it, I believe.